Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Power Voice Summit 5. My name is Barry Overton, and I got to tell you, I am excited. And I'm not excited for me, I am excited for you, the folks that are viewing this amazing event. Because I've had the opportunity to see what we have in store today. We have 15 amazing speakers that are going to have a powerful message, and I know that each and every one of you out there are going to be influenced and impacted by one, two, maybe all 15 of these speakers. So this is kind of that moment where I say, get your popcorn ready. But I'm going to tell you, with this event, this is not a popcorn type of event. Popcorn is for entertainment. And these folks are not here to entertain you. They are not even here to speak to your heart or open your mind. They are going to grab your spirit with the message that they have. So I am so excited for what is about to be delivered to you from these 15 speakers that you're getting ready to hear from. But before we do that, I must say first and foremost, if you are on here and you are someone that is looking for an opportunity yourself to speak, or more importantly, looking to be trained by one of the best in the business, I'm going to give you some information. We have a special offer that is being put out that Mr. Les Brown is going to be teaching for $247 a month. I want you to think about that for a minute. People have car payments that are twice that amount. And has your car ever helped you to be able to speak? This is an opportunity for you to be trained by one of the best in the world, and it's practically being given away. And so I want you, if you are one of those people, number one, put voice into the comments. And also, if you're ready to take action right now, you can go to powervoicetraining.com and get signed up, because I would love to see you on Power Voice 6 or Power Voice 7 on the next summit, telling your story and impacting the masses. So again, powervoicetraining.com to get signed up. Now, I'm going to bring on one of the innovators of this new Power Voice training, a gentleman that they call him the connector. I can tell you, I've had the opportunity probably for the last 9 months or so to really watch him in action. And I understand when they say the connector, see, because he loves connecting great minds, great talents, great people together. And he's been doing it all over the world. He's been doing it for many years, but now he's doing it at a higher level than he's ever done it at any other time. And he's, again, one of the innovators of the Power Voice Summit. He's a mindset coach and an influencer, and he is making a huge impact all around the world right now. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jon Talarico.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you for that great welcome. Welcome, everybody. Make sure you like this page and share it. We've got a powerful day ahead of you, and this would not be possible if it were not for the greatest motivator of our generation himself, Mr. Les Brown. Make sure you share this page, invite your friends. We have 15 amazing Power Voice students have been trained personally over the last few months by Mr. Brown. And so I want to give a huge shout out also before we get started, Barry, to Winnie and her team, the amazing job that she does, making sure that everyone submitted their rehearsals over and over and over again, pulling all this together. It's not an easy task. So Winnie, thank you. And also, a huge congratulations to these 15 amazing voices who they're going to share their experience, strength, and hope with all of you today. And not only let you know and show you what's possible, but what is necessary. Their stories are changing lives, not only for their families, their friends, but in their community and ultimately in the world. And so I want you to think about, what would it be like if you're on the next Power Voice Summit? What if you had Mr. Brown, the godfather of greatness? So I call him the maestro of motivation, teaching and showing you each and every week live, week after week after week, how to discover your gift, how to find your story, how to extract it, and then how to impact, disrupt, dispute, and distract the noise that is going on in the world right now. And then now become a powerful force to walk into your destiny. There is none greater in our lifetime to help you do that. So I am honored each and every week that we get to share and spend that time with Mr. Brown. If you're tired, really, if you're tired of being stuck and having indecision and procrastination run your life, then take action. Like Barry said, Mr. Brown wanted to make this available for everybody. So go to powervoicetraining.com and let's get you on the path to your greatness, right? Now, again, Barry, I want to turn it back over to you. But again, a final thank you to Mr. Les Brown, my dear friend, business partner, and he has impacted and influenced millions of people's lives around the world. And he continues to do that each and every day. And so we're so honored and grateful to have him here. Barry, I'm going to turn it back to you. I know you have a special introduction planned for today. Can't wait to hear these 15 voices. Take it away, Barry.
All right. Thank you so much, Jon. And again, thank you for everything that you also do for the Power Voice Summit team, and as well as TIR and all the folks that you've influenced and had an impact on. I thank you for them right now. But yeah, I have to put my sunglasses on for this one because it's about to get bright up in here. I got to tell you, this gentleman started to impact me before I ever met him about 12 years ago. I can tell you this, before the world ever knew or started using the word influencer, this man was influencing the world. He is voted the #1 motivational speaker in the world. And in my opinion, he is the #1 speaking coach in the world. Because I always say that speaking is art, and I have been trained by the maestro himself. He has made an everlasting impression on tens of millions, hundreds of millions of readers, listeners, and students all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, he is none other than LB Triple P Les Brown, your platter playing papa. There were none before him, there'll be none after him. Therefore, this makes him the one and only. Still young and single, and he loves to mingle. Certified, bona fide, and duly qualified to bring you satisfaction and a whole lot of action. Ladies and gentlemen, the world, welcome the godfather of greatness himself, Mr. Les Brown.
Oh, Barry, no, you didn't go there. Oh, behave. Whatever. Oh, man, I love that introduction. Oh, you got me with that one. And Jon Talarico, I see he's coming for me. Jon, I'm not scared of you. Not scared of you. I want you to know that. Oh, man, he's powerful. Isn't that a new Jon and you too? Oh, boy, man, listen. I got to put on my running shoes. I got to pick up my speed. Hello, everyone. I want you to call people that you know. I want you to text them. I want you to email them. Whatever you need to do to reach out to people that you know that enjoy listening to things that can lift their spirit, motivate them, give them the tools, methods, and techniques, how they can transform their lives. These speakers that are coming now, you're going to be hearing about them because they're living a legendary life because they're committed to be a legend. And as you help people to become exposed to positive messages, suicide among our young people has increased. I was talking to my granddaughter in Columbus, Ohio, and she put me on the phone with a young man. And she said, Papa, she said, here's a young man, we're going into business together. He's 31 years old. We're going to create a clothing line. And so I was calling her to follow up from the conversation, to do an interview with the two of them. No answer. That's unusual. When I call my granddaughters or grandsons, they always respond. So finally I got her. And she said, I've been depressed. Why? You know the young man I introduced you to? Yes. His car broke down. And some guys in the car, they saw him walking, trying to get some help. And they drove behind him, followed him, and they killed him. Violence all across the country has increased. Unprovoked violence. He wasn't involved in drugs, wasn't involved in gangs, young kid, young, and just trying to make his way in the world, and his life is gone. Just like that, just like that. You can tell the state of the community based upon what's going on in that community. There's been a shift. There's been a release of divisiveness, of evil, of anger, of ugliness and hatred, and just craziness unlike we have ever seen before. And the only way that people govern themselves is through the things they hear, the experiences that they see that create a shift in them, and their willingness to take a commitment with their lives to be a voice of change, a voice of peace, a voice of harmony, a voice of creativity, to change the way that we function as a community, as a city, as a state, as a country, as a world. It's a different place where we are right now. And we need new voices out here that can create some shift, that can dispel the craziness and the anger that's going on. Our young people are committing suicide at a very alarming rate as young as 5 years old. So the name of the game is you either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. These people that you're going to see today, they're part of the solution. I want you to like this page and share it. And I want you to keep this in mind. What you tune into, you turn into. Did you hear what I just said? What you tune into. See, we look the other way when our kids are listening to rap music and all of the vulgar language and demeaning of women. And it created a new culture. And all of a sudden we look around, our kids are walking around with their pants below their butts, and entertainers killing each other, these rappers. When I was a kid, when I was coming up, you never heard about the Four Tops or the Temptations or the Supremes or the Gladys Knight, the Pips having a shootout, having a beef. That kind of craziness did not happen. These people that are going to speak today, their goal is to eliminate not just the coronavirus by taking vaccines or practicing social distancing, but eliminating HIV, hood-infected virus, AIDS, addiction to incarceration, and death syndrome. These voices are voices that are needed right now. What you tune into, you turn into. If you go online, you'll see a whole lot of dancing going on, a whole lot of dancing and entertainment, fights, old fights, basketball games, football games, entertainment. Where we are right now, people are fretting over a stimulus check. People are hoping their homes are not repossessed or not losing their job. Where we are right now, your ability to be compelling before this computer, they're even servicing people medically, being evaluated. Go sit in front of your computer. Psychiatrists, psychologists, giving people therapy. Go sit in front of your computer. We're going from click and order to brick. We're going from brick and order to click and order. You can order anything and have it be brought to your house, or you can sit in front of your computer and get all types of services, learn all types of courses. It's definitely a new day from brick and mortar to click and order. So I'm encouraging you to reach out to people that you love, people that you care about, and you to stay here. What you tune into, you turn into. You're going to hear voices of greatness, power voices that will distract, dispute, and inspire, distract you from the mind that the world has given you. Be ye not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And through the execution of their presentation, they're going to create a significant emotional event that releases the spirit of greatness in you. And after this time, you're watching these speakers back to back. What you tune into, you turn into. Your life will never be the same again. You have something special. You have greatness, you. Barry, let it go. Thank you. Bye for now. And by the way, Tyrone says, good morning.
All right. Good morning to Tyrone. And good morning to you, everyone. And it's time. We are about to kick this off. And I tell you, we're igniting it right from the beginning. This gentleman that I'm going to bring on, he's a licensed minister, speaker, coach, and mentor. He is a Navy veteran, an entrepreneur who lives a life to inspire others. and show them how to improve ways to burst through their plateaus and unlock their fullest potential. This gentleman only needs one name, and it's Jay Sean. Welcome to the stage, sir.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you. Everyone here, can you hear me? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about your goals and your dreams right now, because everything that Les said is true. See, when you have goals and dreams, there's always something that comes out of nowhere and try to disrupt your dreams. See, I had goals. I had dreams. I'm a fighter, a martial artist, and I wanted to be the champion. But I was hit hard twice by 2 blows that knocked me out of the sport. First time, it was a drunk driver. The second time, it was a young lady who was text messaging. And each one of those times took away my ability to walk. Now, I understand you may not even be an athlete, and you may not have had the same type of experience, but I'm willing to bet that there was a point in your life, maybe even now, where you felt trapped, stuck, or absolutely paralyzed. Paralyzed by fear, paralyzed by relationships, maybe even paralyzed by COVID-19. And if you're living in that moment right now, here's what I want you to do. Take one more step. You see, 7 years ago today, I was in a wheelchair. And I was looking at my state of being, and I looked over at my wife and I said, honey. She said, yes. I said, take me to the gym. And she looked at me with this face. Oh my God, guys, it was the same face that Kamala Harris gave Mike Pence when he had that little fly on his head. And she said, why? I said, honey, because I'm going to walk. You see, ladies and gentlemen, when you are pursuing your goals and your dreams, it's a process. It's a process to rebuilding your career. It's a process to rebuilding your relationships. It's a process to rebuilding your life, but you have to be willing to take that first step. So once my wife saw how sincere I was and how serious I was about this thing, she took me to the gym. And when I got there, you want to know what I did? I pushed myself in my wheelchair all the way to the pool. And I slid out of my wheelchair and crawled on my belly into that water. But with the help of the water, ladies and gentlemen, I took my first step. See, it's a process to restoring the parts of your life that have been lost. But that process is designed for a reason. And I got to be honest with you, man, there are times when we experience so much pain that we want to skip parts of that process. I was there too, because I had this mountain of misery in front of me, this mountain of agony, this mountain of pain that just wouldn't go away. And there were times when I found myself praying about it. I said, God, this is too much. Lord, I need you to come into my life and do like you did in the Bible. I need you to move mountains on my behalf. And one day God answered me. You know what he told me? He said, son, why would I move this mountain if I can give you the strength to climb? Come on, somebody, hit that heart button and throw some claps in the text box if you know what I'm talking about right now. See, sometimes we want to skip the process, but that process is designed to strengthen you. That process is designed to elevate you. That process is designed to take you higher. You got to be willing to go to every step of the process to restore all that's been lost, even when it hurts. There were times in my life where things got so hard that the doctors got tired of seeing me. I mean, I was going to the ER at least twice a week when I was going through the process, but I refused to give up, even when they told me to quit. 6 different doctors tried to convince me that I would never walk again. But there was a knowing inside of my heart that being confined to this wheelchair was not my destiny. And that I know that listen, I need you to understand what I'm saying. I know that if I live from the heart, then what's living inside of my heart would eventually express itself for the world to see. Come on now. Come on, somebody, hit that heart button right now. See, my mentor, Les Brown, said, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to start to become great. So get started and take your first step. Regardless of what those doctors said to me, see, I had already been to the water and I was determined to take one more step. And the next time I took two. Come on, somebody. See, it's a process. It's a process to doing it. And you got to be so committed to your dreams that not only are you willing to go through every step of the process, that you refuse to quit, even if you fall. Listen, there was a time when I was going through the gym, I had already been able to go from crawling to walking, and I was standing on my own 2 feet, and I was happy. And I was waving at the people in the gym, and I fell flat on my face. And when I hit that ground, I remember something else that Les said. He said, if you fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. So I turned over, and when I looked up, there was a lady there, and she approached me. She said, young man, do you mind if I could tell you a story? And I said, sure, ma'am, go ahead. I'm already sitting down. And she said, legend has it that there was a young man who used to come to this pool in a wheelchair. And every day he would practice taking one more step than he did the day before. And from what I hear, he don't need his wheelchair anymore. So baby, even though you fail, don't give up. Man, when she said that, oh, come on, somebody. When she said that, I understood everything that I had been through. Come on, see, some of you are going through this thing and you keep falling. You don't know why. I'm here to tell you that somebody is looking at your story and learning what's possible for them. Somebody is looking at your story and understanding their own greatness. Somebody looked at my story and determined that it was a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are going through the process of rebuilding your life, it has to become your will to make it to the end of your journey. You got to look your haters in the eye. You got to look your situation in the eye. And you got to be willing to look yourself in the eye and repeat these words with me. Come on, say, I'm a legend. No. Say it again like you mean it. Say, I'm a legend. Say it from your soul. Say, I'm a legend. Ladies and gentlemen, you will make it to the end of your journey because you are a legend. Thank you. Brother Barry, come on back while I give them these free offers. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to take one more step. One more step. I need you to go down to IamJSean.com. That's www.IamJSean.com. And I'm going to show you your first 10 steps toward greatness for free. Just go down there, you click that gold button, and that guide is yours for free. And if you want more information, I'll be so happy to work for you. God bless you.
Hey, Jay Sean.
Yes, sir.
I'm a legend.
Yes, sir. Say it like you mean it.
I'm a legend.
Say it from your heart, Brother Barry.
I'm a legend.
That's right.
Hey, you
yes, sir.
Started off right. Thank you so much for that. What a powerful message to get started here. So thank you,
sir.
Jay Sean. All right, our next speaker. So she had suicidal thoughts, that she found out were not uncommon amongst her community. In 2017, a Time magazine reported that public health groups discovered that 36,000 millennials died due to deaths of despair. And as a minority millennial who overcame adversity from discrimination, public mental health negligence, immigration challenges, and financial obstacles, she now serves as an influencer, a public health activist, a writer, a speaker, author, and entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Ace Dolagosa.
Thank you so much, Barry. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and share my story. For what purpose do you acquire wisdom? Soka University in Japan has a plaque on the ground that asks students this question upon entry to the campus. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could someone look so young and think like this? When I was 8 years old, I want to say that I went through a pretty tough time. And I'm going to say right now, you're never too young to think of suicide, just like Mr. Les Brown just mentioned. Now, I can sense the astonishment in your faces. I was 8 years old when I had my first thoughts. Now, how could I be so miserable at 8? Have you seen the stories about Asian discrimination in the United States? If you stand in solidarity with me and my American Asian brothers and sisters, please type #StopAsianHate in the chat. Thank you, Mr. Les Brown and Jon Talarico. With what you taught me in this course, I was able to use my power voice to stand up for what is right. And look at how much this movement has grown with one speech. So let me tell you something. These stories aren't new. The discrimination has been going on for decades. Back in the 1980s, my wonderful, resilient mother took the opportunity to work in New York City to escape poverty. At the time, the immigration process from the Philippines to the United States was 20 years. So as she was working in the Philippines, doing everything she could to cut that time in half, she supported her family, sending money back to them. 6 years in the Philippines, then to Canada, then to New York City, losing one of my sisters in the process. By the time I was born in 1992, we were all together. And by the time I was 8 years old, my father was struggling to find a job with his accent. My mother was working countless hours. One of my sisters joined the Air Force. The 9/11 happened. We were all facing some type of adversity in our lives. And here I was constantly thinking I was a bother, struggling with ADD, stuck in a tumultuous home. I felt scared all the time. Every morning I would wake up with heart-shattering pain. And all I could do was cry and hope it would go away. All I wanted to do was not be a bother anymore to my family and just not exist, hoping that if I wasn't there, they wouldn't be in pain either. For anyone who has ever felt this way, please know that you are not alone. Long story short, when I was 8 years old, the suicide attempt didn't work. I'm still here. But look, the story is not about societal blame. The story is about how I found power, wisdom, and purpose the very moment before I gave up my life, and how that ultimately became my strength. In the moment of pure clarity, I thought, if I choose to do this ends for good, it's over. But I want to fall in love one day. I want to hug my mother again. And I just want my father to be happy. Remembering these pure desires, these hopes led me out of that isolated, dark place. When facing death, we tend to realize there's not much time in this life. And as Barry mentioned, Time magazine reported 36,000 millennials in America died in 2017 due to deaths of despair, drug overdose, alcoholism, suicide. With the pandemic, I'm sure it increased, and not just to millennials. Now, you don't have to worry about me. The suicidal thoughts ended a long time ago. I trust myself to choose hope over despair when it seems like all hope is lost. I've done it before. That is the power of faith, and my faith comes from chanting Nam Myo Renge Kyo. With this foundation, every time I felt like I was disrespected or indignified, I found peace and compassion, realizing people sometimes just don't know what you're going through. And that as humans, we all want to be happy and we don't want to suffer. This is what unites us. So in my communities, friends, colleagues alike, they had thoughts of suicide or knew people who have. Now, each of us has a special mission, a purpose. When confronted with a problem, please type space in the chat if you have had a problem. It is human to have problems. And when you have solved that problem using your own uniqueness, you gain wisdom that only you were destined to discover. And guess what? There are so many people in this world that are facing that same problem. What then is your mission? To help the people who are suffering and struggling just like you did, so that they can overcome the problems for themselves. tools you develop in the form of a service, a class, a product, a company, a currency, a story, an idea, that contribution, your resolution, your earnest resolve is the gift that will save a lot of people from suffering. Thank you for being alive. The moment you have the courage to devote your life to that mission is the moment that all that anxiety that you're feeling will fall away, and those problems no longer trap you in fear. They become the springboards to fulfillment and joy. Now, at 8 years old, I was confronted with many problems, but I overcame these problems, or as Les and Jon like to call them, these challenges, with this: regardless of what you are going through and what anyone says, we have all the power within us and the wisdom within us to overcome anything. My mission is to remind you of that, and to remind you of how powerful your life is every moment you choose hope and happiness over despair. I am now 28 years old, and I am alive. I overcame so much before I stand here with you today, and I appreciate everything that I went through because I am genuinely happy. I am a public health activist, influencer, speaker, author, and entrepreneur. I own a full production media studio, Arca Via Inc., focusing on social impact-based projects, connecting media industry veterans that I have worked with over the past 10 years to the promising talent of the next generation as mentors. Our life may be finite, but our legacies live on. I'd like to leave you with a quote from my mentor in life, SGI President Daisaku Ikeda. Today, I turn back defeat. For the sake of all, I will live out each day as a champion of good health. I do not live to suffer, but to accomplish a grand purpose, embraced in solid, enduring happiness. I ask again, for what purpose do you acquire wisdom? I am Ace Dolagosa. Thank you very much for your tireless efforts in creating a better world.
All right. Thank you so much, Ace. And tell us about your offer that you have for us today.
Oh, my offer for today. I am a fun conversationalist. I love doing podcasts. So booking me for a 20-minute podcast, that is my free offer. Anything after that, we'll talk more.
All right. Thank you so much. And I really just appreciate your transparency, because that's hard to be able to talk about such a dark part of your life. But I can tell you, just today, you have impacted some people, and you will continue to do that. So again, continue to share your story and heal others through that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barry.
All right. All right. So our next speaker that we have coming, he believes that humanity deserves to experience the best version of itself. His desire is that every person discovers their purpose, masters their gift, and accesses their freedom. He inspires to enhance the human experience by equipping people with the resources, skills, opportunities necessary to achieve their greatest potential and live life to the fullest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jamal Mitchell.
Thank you, Barry. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you could have been anywhere in the world right now, but you decided to tune in to the 5th annual Power Voice Summit. And I don't know you, but here's what I know about you. You're a oner, a remarkable person or thing. You're the only person on the planet with the future that's bottled inside of you. And that means you're important, valuable, and needed. So before we begin our ascent towards God's favorite video game, I want you to gently close your eyes and walk towards the red canister. I got a sense of the nose, and I smell the weed, liquor, and cigarettes. So throw them in there because you don't need them on this journey. And reach into your other back pocket and remove your negative self-image, self-limiting belief system, and fixed mindset. Mark Twain stated, you can't depend on your eyes if your imagination is out of focus. And these are the issues that will prevent you from playing the game, prevent you from advancing to the next level, and prevent you from overcoming what seems impossible. What is God's favorite video game? It's your life. Life is a video game full of infinite levels. Each level has a different boss. Each boss requires a different strategy, and you're equipped with infinite strategies. Write that down. You see, a video game electronically manipulates an image produced by a computer program on the display screen. Your brain acts as a computer That computer carries out the instructions of your thoughts, which lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions, and actions lead to results that are displayed as your life in real time. So what does that mean? Well, Bob Proctor said, change is inevitable, but personal growth is a choice. It means if you want the game to change, then you have to improve. It's life starring you. Ooh, write that down. You are the writer, director, actor, extra, etc., etc. So what script are you writing for your life? What are you visualizing as possible for you? And what character are you playing so that you can develop the role that you want out of your life? Because at the end of each level, you will meet some powerful bosses. And winning will require a greater knowledge of the game mechanics. So you'll need some cheat codes to enable you to gain access to your unused assets and functions. Now I want you to type Game Genie in the comments section. If you or someone you know feel like you've been playing the same game, stuck on the same level, dealing with the same boss, and your bosses may be dealing with the death of a loved one, job loss or breakup, or maybe you've been molested, raped, or battered, or maybe you're suffering from low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. Life seems impossible. You're ready to quit, and you're thinking about pulling the plug. There's something I want you to know. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to seek help. And you're not alone. 7 years ago, I didn't play the game so well. Open the door to my 3-level loft and you'll smell the stench of the urine and feces covered the basement floor for my dog Ghost. You'll find a kitchen with dishes piled to the ceiling that wouldn't come clean even if you put them in the dishwasher. And you'll see a beautiful bamboo hardwood floor covered with socks, shoes, books, and DVDs. And you'll find me slumped over on the all-white pleather sectional alone. And then I got a phone call from the most angelic voice known to man, my mama. And she said, Jamal, I'm aware that my brother is bipolar and my niece is too, but do you believe it's possible that it could be true for you? And I said, yes, ma'am, I do. And she said, would you go take a test? Because me and your father don't feel like we're in a position to be able to help you. And that don't make me feel good. Those were the worst words my mother ever said to me, that she and my father didn't have the tools to help me. And I said, there's got to be a better way to play. And as a child, I remember my favorite game, Sonic, and I could see myself flying through the levels, collecting all the coins. But no matter what I would do, when I got to that final Sky Zone level, Dr. Robotnik's would beat the brakes off of me. And I would find myself repeating this process time and time again. The definition of insanity. Remember, the lesson will be repeated until it's learned. And I got so frustrated, I threw the controller and bam, the cabinet door flung open. And there it was, the Game Genie. Infinite access to unused assets and functions. A better way to play. I'm talking invulnerability, unlimited ammo, and level skipping. And so I took that test. And what that test revealed is that I was not bipolar, but I was in a severe manic and depressed state. I had experienced some severe levels of trauma that I suppressed, and that suppression grew into anger. And over time, the anger developed into rage. And I had felt good, but I knew if I could overcome that rage, I would feel better. So I found a cognitive behavioral therapist that looked like me. And the first thing the brother told me, and I want you to write this down, you're a oner, a remarkable person or thing. And a while later, he asked me who I was. I had no clue. I'd never been asked that question before. It took me a month to discover the answer. And something tapped me on my shoulder and said, you're God's favorite channel for his children. And he said, well, what does that mean? I said, there's some places I've been going, some substances I've been abusing, some friends I've been choosing that are no longer a good fit for me. I discovered my purpose and I felt so much better. But I was curious how I would feel once I reached my best. So I found another Game Genie. And what this Game Genie revealed is that I had OCD. But I learned that I could choose what I obsessed over. So I became obsessed with becoming God's greatest version of me. So what do you believe? Can you see the forest through the trees? Do you believe that you can do the difficult immediately? Do you believe that impossible takes just a bit longer? Do you believe if you use the Game Genie, that your game could get stronger? Because I do. I believe I'm an eagle with the heart of a lion and the swag of a peacock. And if you can't see the forest through the trees, then ascend until you can see it from the treetops. So the next time you're met with the test, just remember to never let it rest until your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. I'm Lib and said son, Shaka's brother, Jackson's daddy. I'm like no other. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to serve. I hope this message was well deserved.
All right. Thank you so much, Jamal. That was powerful. Man, I'm telling you, we are with one speaker after the next. Y'all are bringing it today. And just really excited for your success and everything. We have the opportunity to get to know one another over the past few weeks and just really excited for your success. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get a hold of Jamal, he is talking. He's doing free talks right now in schools because he wants to inspire at a young age. And you could go to jamalmitchell.com to reach him. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. All right. And if you've been on here and you've thought to yourself, man, I want to find my power voice. I want to learn how to tell my story. I want to master the stage. We have an opportunity for you to do just that. At $247 a month, you can be trained by the maestro of speaking, Mr. Les Brown, on a weekly basis. Every week that you'll have an opportunity to spend time with him and hone your craft of speaking. And you go to powervoicetraining.com. Powervoicetraining.com, $247 per month. That is a great opportunity. We look forward to you joining the Power Voice system and the Power Voice family. And a part of that family is this young lady that I'm bringing up now. She is a media mogul, a public speaker who inspires people around the world to step into their purpose with full confidence. She is the publisher of LA Style Magazine. It's a legendary magazine in Los Angeles about life. It's a lifestyle publication that was originally out in the 1980s, and she rebirthed it in 2015 with a focus on inspirational content. And she is going to inspire you. Ladies and gentlemen, Trisha Love Vargas.
Hello. Happy day. I'm so excited to speak with you all and just have this opportunity. If you guys are happy that you have another day to breathe, another day to live, drop a heart, drop a hands up in the chat. You see, every day we have is so divine. Every day that we wake up and we overcome the trials and tribulations that come our way make us more than conquerors. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. I'm here to share my heart and tell you my story and give you a little glimpse of how it is that I got to where I am today. You see, it's not typical that you'd think someone from my upbringing or even my quote unquote social class would have a position that I have today at such a young age, some people say. But I'm going to share with you 3 transformational principles that I learned from my mother growing up that really have been the anchor of my life during my darkest days. Days that I felt like I couldn't take another breath. I just didn't want to get out of bed. Have you been there? Has it been so hard to just get up? I get it. And I'm taking a moment to acknowledge that pain. I'm taking a moment to acknowledge what you've been through. But I'm also here to encourage you and remind you of what you were designed for. You were designed for a divine purpose. There's a reason that you're listening to me speak today. And even more beyond that, there's a divine purpose for your life. I'm going to share with you 3 scriptures that really, like I said, have just been an anchor for me in growing up. And then I'm going to share a little bit about my mother and my story. So the first is Psalms 139. You see, it says that God knit you together in your mother's womb. He knew your first day before you took it. And I know that at times hearing that, it could be a little confusing because you're like, God, why did I go through such hard times? Why did this happen to me? Why did that happen to me? But there's another scripture that is so powerful and profound that helps transform that into the very next thing, which is your divine purpose. And that comes in Genesis 50. God says, for what the enemy intended for evil, I will turn to good. You see, there's such power when you turn to your creator, the King of Kings, the creator of the universe, to have him work with you and to develop your confidence. That's the next point I want to share with you. When you can really accept that God created you for this time, for such a time as this, and you step into your purpose and you own what you were created to do, you walk in the room differently. The game changes when you know that the creator of the universe has got your back and he's inside of you. It's like the confidence that you exude is received by all those around you, and then you become a magnet to them. You see, at times when I think about some individuals that I speak to, whether they're billionaires of corporations or some of the top, mayors of the most prominent cities in the nation, I look back and I say, man, that conversation happened with such ease. How is it that I spoke with them with such confidence? And you want to know why? It's because of these scriptures that I've meditated on. I've let them seep into my soul. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Write them down. Remind yourself of these things every single day. The other one is Luke 12:7. It literally says that God knows every single hair on your head. The most wonderful stylist in the world doesn't even know the hairs on his head, let alone the number of hairs on his client's head. God knows that little detail about you. How much more does he know about you? Every single desire and yearning in your heart. He's put there, and he's waiting for you to turn to him to manifest them. The other scripture I want to share with you is Jeremiah 29:11. This has been such an anchor for me because, like I said, times can be tough. It says, "For I know the plans that he has for me. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and give you a good future." That is so profound because despite your circumstances, you know that he has a plan for you and he will turn them for good. You see, when I was just 8 years old, my mother packed everything she had in a little Dodge Neon and moved us to Florida to start a life anew. She went through some hard times. I saw her strive and do the best she could to provide for us. There were seasons where they would deliver food for us because we didn't have enough in our budget to have a full groceries or the refrigerator full. We had a blow-up mattress in our living room because it's all the furniture we could afford to just start out. I'd see her cleaning in the dining room of fast food restaurants and working in the back. You see, but she didn't let the circumstances define her. She knew that God had a plan for her. She knew that God had a plan for me. And I saw that and I held on to that. And I've held on to that throughout my life. When I conceived my son when I was still in college and I was devastated because I didn't know what I was going to do. How is it that I was going to accomplish these things, these dreams that I had in my life? Now as such a young mother, without anyone really to guide me through this so-called life. But I did. And so do you. And it was God who pulled me through and continues to pull me through today. So the last point I want to share with you guys is urgency. I say it in such a sweet and light way, but it is so important and powerful because that's what's going to push you through to wake up every day and say, what is it that I have to do today to step into my purpose? Am I living my purpose? Am I living life fully? Or do I need to step into confidence? Do I need to step into the worth that God has on my life? Do I need to own that in order to be operating differently? So that's the question I ask you. And if you're not, it's okay. Today's your day, and this is your awakening. Thank you. God bless you. I love you like a sister in Christ, and I am praying for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Trisha. What a powerful message. And to be able to reach out to Trisha, you can get her at trishalove.com. trishalove.com. We can do a virtual meet and greet right there. And also, I got to tell you, you were speaking to me today. You know, God has a funny way of working and he uses us all as vessels. But Jeremiah 29:11 has been my scripture for 7 years now when I decided to walk away from working for someone else. And it was the scariest time of my life. And I said, what am I doing? And God told me, you're not working your plan, you're working mine. Right.
Amen.
Yes. So thank you so much. Every time I hear someone say that, I know that God is using them in that moment. So thank you so very much for being that vessel.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I announce the next speaker, I got to tell you, somebody is taking action. You know, we put up the Power Voice training website. We've put that up and someone has already taken action. See, it's one thing to say, make a decision that you're going to do something, but you have to decide, then you have to take action on it. And I just want to give a hand to Marcy Cody. Marcy Cody has made a decision and she has already got into the Power Voice training that's going to be coming up. So congratulations to you. And again, I look forward to you sharing your story and impacting all of us here in the very near future. So my next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna have to get your seatbelts on for this one. This gentleman, he's born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, which we all know, is a gumbo pot of ethnicity that provided him with a unique perspective of, understanding people and cultural differences. He is a music artist, a professional truck driver, a husband, and a father. He enjoys encouraging and motivating others to think positive. Throughout his life, he has become a role model to his siblings in the church and to the community. And if you were to ask Alphonse to describe himself, he would say, first and foremost, I am a child of God and a father to my children. Now, most in the community know him as Alphonse, but the people that are closest to him know him as Big Al. Ladies and gentlemen, Al Foster.
What up, what up, what up, Power Voice family? It's unity in the community. I am Al Foster. The A is for authentic, and the L, of course, is for love. My mentor, Les Brown, he is a game changer. You heard me? He is a game changer. I like to thank my mentor, Les Brown. Thank you, Les Brown. Thank you to Jon Talarico, and thank you to the Power Voice ladies, Winnie and Crystal. Les Brown says, you gotta be hungry. So you gotta be hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a plum-pleasing pleasure and a privilege to speak on the Power Voice Summit platform. I want to speak to you today about recognizing a win. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a win is when you are victorious or you gain a victory. We want to talk about two types of wins. We want to talk about the macro wins, and we want to talk about the micro wins. The macro wins, well, that's the big win. Well, sometimes the crowd knows who you are and you have followers. That's the one when you made it mainstream. In my neighborhood, they would say that's when you are all that and a bag of chips. The micro wins are the small wins, the more intimate ones for the loved ones, for your loved ones. And those are the ones where you may be recognized as trying to be somebody, but you're struggling to be that person at the expense and time of others, particularly your mom and them. Now, small wins matter in a big way. Micro wins should be recognized as little baby steps of progress towards the achievement of your targeted goal. Micro wins are little indicators that you are moving in the right direction. Micro wins motivate us and boost our self-confidence, just like big ones. Can I tell you, you can't give credit to the small wins with the big wins without recognizing the small wins. John C. Maxwell said that success is a series of small wins. You got to have an attitude of gratitude. God woke me up this morning. Now, that may not mean much to you, but to me, that's a win. He clothed me in my right mind. That's a win. He protected me from all hurt, harm, and danger. How many of you know that that's a win? When your wins are connected to your purpose and they line up for the will of God, Lord have mercy. Make you want to shout, "Ow! Thank you, Lord." 2020 has been a challenging time for all of us. I lost my mother in 2020, and it's been heartfelt. I never imagined losing her so soon. My mother had health complications, one of them being diabetes. I remember the doctor called a family meeting with me and my family. And as he was sitting there, before he could finish saying what he had to say about amputating her leg because of the diabetes, my mama voice came to me and said, "Hell no, to the no, no, no." She said, "I'm leaving the way I came." Eventually, my mother got her room in the mansion. I looked at that as a win because she didn't have to suffer no more. Because the scripture says that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. is to be present with the Lord. So with that being said, I learned things from my mother. That was a win in my life. I learned that if you want to be successful, you have to live a purpose-driven life. People who don't live a purpose-driven life, anything goes in their life. But when you live a purpose-driven life, you can make a greater impact. When you live a purpose-driven life, it narrows the choices that you make. Many people die at the age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65. My mother, she was also a giver. Yes, she was a giver. When you think about your life and you think about it, you want to think about living a life of contribution. It's not about the money you make, and it's not about the materialistic things that you accomplish. It's about the impact. Create a presence. My mother, she also was a servant. She loved to serve. She loved to have a sanctuary for children at her house. She loved giving to people. So she just gave to people non-stop. It was all love. But we get to this point where we say, if I look at her and I continue to go forward, that's a win for me. She really moved me. My mother, her spirit is with me. She had a spirit that the casket could not cover and the grave could not hold. And today I'm representing my mother's spirit of purpose, of giving, and being a servant. That's my story, y'all, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Thank you so much, Al. And the story was phenomenal. So thank you for sharing that with us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be able to reach out to Al, you can go to his website at fostersinspiration.com. fostersinspiration.com, and he's offering a free 30-minute session to see how he can help you to guide you into that purpose-driven life. I love that. I've always said that we never get into a car to drive aimlessly. We always have an intent of where we're going, but with our lives, we will drive aimlessly for many years. So I love that you are sending that message of a purpose-driven life. Thank you so much for that, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this next speaker is someone I've been watching since she joined the Power Voice and she started posting her videos, and you're in for a real treat. All right, she is on a mission to bring light to darkness. Having endured numerous life-altering traumas in her life, she has walked a very destructive path of drug and alcohol abuse, promiscuous and violence. Through an incredible healing journey, she completely transformed her life and is now impacting the lives of others through her unique awareness and insight into some of the darkest places. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Sasha Perel.
Hi, Barry. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. My name is Sasha Perel, and I am on a mission to bring light to darkness. I'm a psyche resilience specialist and co-founder of Born Legacy, Inc. I'm a mother, an author, a leader, and a change maker. I am also a survivor of domestic violence, addiction, and sexual abuse. When you're lost in the darkness and see no sign of light, when you feel not an ounce of hope in your life, how do you continue to push forward? When you feel broken inside and see no way through the pain, when you're stuck in the storm and see no sun through the rain, how do you keep your faith? When you've given all you've got and can't seem to ignite, when you've given every single last bit of your fight, how do you find the light? In January of 2011, I made a decision that changed the course of my life. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. I stood in the shower with scalding hot water piercing my skin, and yet that pain felt better than the pain I felt internally. Numb, broken, trapped. I heard the door upstairs open, and I remember thinking to myself, maybe he'll see my bags packed and realize the torture he's been putting me through, and somehow everything's just going to be different this time. But that's not what happened at all. In what seemed like a flash, the bathroom door swung open abruptly, and he grabbed a fistful of my hair, dragging me across the floor, but naked. And as I laid in fetal position, curled up on the cold, hard floor, feeling completely lifeless, his powerful voice thundered through me, demeaning me, threatening me. And that feeling of violation was not foreign to me. And I finally realized in that moment that no one was coming to save me, and I needed to save myself. And that day, after more than 3 years in this violent relationship, I finally gathered the courage to leave. I grabbed what I could carry and trekked off into a winter storm with no phone, no money, no plan, knowing that anywhere would be better than being there, and I would figure it out. I want you guys to write this down. God saves his hardest battles for his strongest soldiers. Sometimes the darkest of places have a way of casting the brightest of lights, for what is light without darkness? We're not always meant to understand God's plan, but we are required to have faith that his plan is unfolding perfectly. Bob Proctor says, faith and fear both require us to believe in something that we cannot see. God has a greater plan for you than you could ever imagine. But that means that you have a character that needs to be developed and deep insight that needs to be understood. You are not your circumstances. You are not your perceived disability, and you are not your mistakes. I stand before you as an example that life is not about what happens to you, but rather how you choose to respond. On July 11th, 2015, I found out I was going to be a mother. My life finally had meaning. I felt like all my dreams were coming true, but I was terrified. You see, I come from a long line of generational trauma that trickled down and impacted my belief systems and my self-worth, and in turn attracted the trauma that I would go on to endure throughout my own life. Becoming a new mother was a hard mix of emotions because suddenly I had the weight of the world on my shoulders to undo those cycles of generational trauma so that my daughter would never have to endure the nightmares that I experienced. So I began to develop myself, to challenge myself, and to look at all the parts of me that I was never brave enough to really look at. I had to get real with myself. When's the last time you got real with yourself? Where you looked at your cycles of poor choices and negative ways of thinking and took full accountability for everything in your life. Statistically, I had a 16% chance at success in life because I was born into poverty. And those chances were even further decreased because I was sexually abused as a child. I had a really unstable upbringing, and I emancipated myself at 15. I was abused and raped and turned to drugs and alcohol as a means to escape a reality that I did not know how to deal with. So believe me when I tell you, hell is not a place that evil people go when they die. It's something we experience right here on earth within the limitations and constraints of our own minds. Have you ever experienced something in your life that caused you so much pain that it changed you? You started to build walls around your heart to protect yourself and put on these clouded lenses that distorted the way you viewed yourself in the world. Too many people get stuck there, telling themselves they aren't worthy, they aren't capable, they aren't lovable, they aren't meant for anything beyond survival and mediocrity. What are the stories that you tell yourself that keep you trapped in pain? If you asked me to tell you my story 15, 10, or even 5 years ago, it would have been from a complete space of victimization. But I finally realized that I had the power to change my narrative and write a new story, one of victory, resilience, and accountability. Please write this down. I am not a statistic. However, until you look at yourself, and I mean really look at yourself, you will exist only as a projection of how you wish to be perceived. One of the greatest lessons that I've learned in life is the power of vulnerability. Now, if you're anything like me, when you think of vulnerability, you think of weakness. And where I come from, if you're weak, you're prey. So vulnerability and we never had a relationship. But let me tell you what happens when you can't be vulnerable. You run from truth. You blame the world for your problems, and you end up a victim. You portray yourself as the image of how you want others to perceive you to avoid the confrontation of having to look at and openly admit things about yourself that scare you. So please tell me now that vulnerability makes you weak. Brene Brown says you can either walk inside your story and own it, or you can stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. Now, I don't know about you, but I got damn tired of that hustle. Listen to me right now. Speaking your truth and expressing your emotion does not make you weak. It makes you human. When we go through life stuffing our pain and not understanding our emotional responses, we lose touch with who we really are. We begin to project our fears and insecurities onto others around us, rippling more pain and more hatred out into the world. We are not meant to be indestructible and unimpacted by the hardships of life. So can we please normalize the raw authenticity of what it means to be human, to own our flaws, to be perfectly imperfect, to cry when our hearts get broken, to ask for help instead of thinking that we need to take on the world alone, to trust without reason, to connect without fear, and above all else, to love fully and unconditionally, no matter how many times we've been hurt in the past. If I can leave you with just one message today, let it be this, and please write this down. Get out of your damn head and back into your heart. Love is the cure-all. My name is Sasha Peril, and my gift to you all today is a free 30-minute coaching call where I will help you get real with yourself and step into your power. This is my story, and I'm damn sure sticking to it.
All right. Let me get the name right first. Sasha Peril.
Yes.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, so I had the rehearsal videos and I looked at these videos. This particular one, I was working out in the gym and closed my eyes, and you were so vivid in the description of the abuse. I was there in the room. It was just so impactful, and your conviction just comes through on the video and through your words. So it's very clear how passionate you are about this. And I know that you're going to help and inspire so many people. So thank you.
Thank you, Barry. And I see my website up there. I just wanted to be clear that to get the free gift, it's bornlegacy.ca/free-gift.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. And our next speaker, she is a self-published author, a speaker, a business consultant. She's a pharmacist by trade and received her doctorate degree from Florida A&M University. And she lives in the sunny city of Tampa, Florida, with her husband and 3 children. Is there a doctor in the house? Yes, there is. Dr. Tiffany James.
Hi, Mr. Berry. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Tiffany James, and I am here to empower you on your journey to success. I've learned that in order to have the things or to achieve the things that you're desiring in life, you must have 3 things. And I want everyone to write these 3 things down. You must have a vision, determination, and the commitment to do whatever it takes in order to get those things that you desire in life. My journey began on the highest of 7 hills in Tallahassee, Florida, as a student of the incomparable Florida A&M University. How many rattlers do I have in the house that's represented today? Well, in 2008, my journey was interrupted when I found out just 1 week into my freshman year that I was expecting my first child. I was only 18 years old at the time. Yes, I was emotionally overwhelmed as I had to begin making decisions that a typical 18-year-old wouldn't have had to make during this time in their lives. But one thing that I knew for certain is that if I wanted to achieve the vision of my success, I needed to do whatever it took to be a part of the less than 2% of teen moms that graduated college. It's the great Franklin D. Roosevelt that stated, "The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today." Doubt and fear was not going to get me to where I desired to be, yet my determination would push me across that finish line. It's the great book that states, "The race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to he that endureth to the end." I had to rely on the power that I had within me to guide me on this new journey of commitment. And I want to encourage you today that you also have the power within you to succeed in all of your endeavors, because you weren't created with the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. You see, the meaning of the name Tiffany is the manifestation of God. And once I realized that power that I held behind my name, I knew that I could do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. You see, I also had to realize that I needed help. I needed help with my baby in order to reach that mark of success. I want everyone to write the word ask in the chat box. Go ahead, type the word ask in the chat box. Do not be afraid to ask for help. There are people out here that will help you to get to the next level that you desire to be. You are not alone in this world. And remember, never stop asking until you receive that help that you're looking for to get to the place that you desire to be. You see, most people think of diamonds when they hear my name. And like a diamond, I was transformed under intense pressure and heat from my circumstances. But like a diamond, I'm precious. And like a diamond, I shine bright. And I'm worth more than any problems or circumstances in life today. And I also want to let you know that there are angels that walk this earth. There are angels that we cannot see that protects us and guide our lives, but there are also angels that walk this earth to help us during our toughest times. And during my toughest times, God sent me two angels. One of the angels that he sent me was my mom. She helped me to take care of my baby, but also she believed in me and in my dreams. The second angel that he brought to me was my then friend, now husband, Spencer, who not only helped me to take care of my son, but he also encouraged me along my path all the way until both of us walked across that stage together on graduation day. As you may be going through adversaries during this COVID-19 pandemic, or even on your journey to success, I want to encourage you to continue to fight. Continue to fight the fears and doubts that hindered your progress to success. You will cross that finish line because you have the power within you to do so. And before I leave you all today, like the rapper Jay-Z said, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Doc, D to the OC, Dr. Tiffany James. Now you know me. And like a great rattler, I strike and I strike and I strike again until I became one of the less than 2% of teen moms that graduated college. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc. D to the OC. I love that. And thank you for sharing that. And if you're looking, you heard that, and I saw so many comments. It's all the asks that were going into the comments as well. So you want to actually ask Dr. Tiffany some questions and get a hold of her. You can go to mommiesmission.com, and she has a free online course there. So mommiesmission.com. Get a hold of Dr. Tiffany. She is ready to inspire and entertain to a certain degree, but she is going to inspire more than anything. So thank you so much for that, ma'am.
You're welcome. And Mr. Barry, Mommy's Mission is actually my business consultancy, but Mommy's Mission University.com is where they will get that free course. It's called Success 101. You will receive a course on personal and professional success.
Thank you. Thank you. And, all right, and congratulations to you, Tiffany. You did a great job there. So you've seen quite a few speakers here this morning. We're just about through all of our speakers. It's been an amazing morning of inspiration with these men and women that are just doing some huge things right now. And if you're listening and you're thinking to yourself, man, I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be, I have this feeling and these thoughts and this voice inside of me, and I don't know how to bring it out. Well, you want to work with the best in the business, Mr. Les Brown, and you have an opportunity. See, when I did this back last summer of 2020, I didn't have the opportunity that you have. You have an amazing opportunity to be able to do this at $247 per month. And it gives you live weekly trainings with Mr. Brown. And you'll find in those trainings that he's going to take your story and mold it and sculpt it and put it in a position where you can share it on stage and share it in front of numbers of people, that it will start to make a huge impact. You will find your power voice. How do you go there? You go to powervoicetraining.com, powervoicetraining.com. I would suggest, just like Marcy Cody, take action. Do this right now. Why wait? Why think about it from a standpoint? If you got it in your heart that you want to really express your power voice, let's start doing it by taking action right now. Let me tell you about someone else that took action. This gentleman he's 32 years old. He's a lawyer turned entrepreneur, and was working to solve one of society's fundamental human needs, shelter. And in 2020, The JMVI Realty app earned Jermaine a seat as a finalist to the Caribbean's first Shark Tank virtual pitch, where the company first came under the radar of international media house MarketWatch. So, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Mr. Jermaine Rudd.
As you travel the road of life, remember one thing, that a bend in the road is not the end of the road. I almost lost my life in order to gain my life. When I survived what should have been a fatal accident, I had no clue that God was trying to speak to me. When a good Samaritan rescued my body from the rubble, moved my body into a house, God's house, I didn't appreciate the gravity of the situation until I heard my father's voice in tears. The moment I saw him, he saw me laying on the cold floor, almost as if he was looking at his dead son. And to see the strongest man you know cry, I don't know where I got the energy, but I sprung to my feet because God needed me standing. I hugged him. Septi, I'm okay. And as I stood and hugged him, I noticed a mirror on the wall across the room. And I kid you not, this was the first time I took a long, hard look at myself. I didn't like what I saw. It never once occurred to me at the time that what I was looking at happened to be the biggest miracle in my life. And as I went about my long, painful recovery, I was suffering. I was overwhelmed by life. Back pains were my daily alarm clock, and boy, did I get up early. See, I was a lawyer, but now I needed a lawyer for the dangerous driving charges just hanging over my head like a cloud, ready to burst without a moment's notice. And as if that wasn't enough, just imagine the repetitive pleas of my loving mother reminding me every single time I set foot in a car, Jermaine, please, please don't speed. But who could blame her? Except that I was playing the blame game. Now, I went through a moment in my life when I felt broken, when I felt helpless. And if you, ladies and gentlemen, have ever hit rock bottom in your life, I want to share with you what got me standing again. Because sometimes God will find ways to speak through other people. And I am his mouthpiece. One day, while scrolling online, I came across an internet marketer, and he goes by the name of Wesley $1 Billion Virgin. And that's what he does. Every time he says his name, he hits his chest to let you know that he's the man. And man, this guy, he was just always in a good mood. He was just always positive. His aura, his energy. And I just didn't understand it. What's his secret? Are we living in the same world? And as I went through this online course, Wesley taught me something which changed my life. And I want to share that with you today. Wesley taught me about the attitude of gratitude. He said this, you can write it down. Change your story and you'll change your life. What I learned about gratitude is that gratitude removes all negative thoughts, the thoughts that keep you feeling stuck, the thoughts that keep you feeling helpless in this thing called life. So what I did, I began to coat my mind with gratitude every day, every night. And here's what I want you to do. As you're going about life, the minute you start drifting, your thoughts start drifting to negative thoughts. Could be a job, could be COVID-19. Just stop. Begin to think about the stuff that you are truly grateful for. Not everything you want, but everything you have. Because everything you have is substantial. You just haven't gone through the list and taken inventory in a long time. Because you see, the fact that you woke up, the fact that you've got something to eat, the fact that you've got a mother, that you've got a father still in your life, the fact that you have the opportunities to get it right, the opportunities to dream. And as you look at your goals, look at your dreams, ask yourself, what are you truly grateful for? Because as long as you could focus on all the good in your life, I promise you this, over time, you'll begin to believe in the possibilities that you will get through everything that you're going through. Over time, you'll begin to see failures not as ends, but new beginnings. And even in the hardest times, you'll choose your dream over and over and over again. Because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And gratitude did that for me. So over time, I no longer was playing the blame game. Over time, I no longer felt the need to play victim of my circumstances. Over time, in 6 years, guess what? I still have back pains. But today I get to introduce you to the co-founder of a game-changing mobile app used to sell and buy properties. And we're on a mission to help millions around the world rent, bid, or buy with JMVI. And I'm not saying this to impress you, but only to impress upon you that your life is precious and you have a God-given purpose. And it all starts with gratitude. And if you don't remember anything today, remember this, that life is God's gift to you. And how you live that life is your gift to God. And I am not shortchanging my God, and neither should you. So as you look at your goals, look at your dreams, remember one thing. If you feel broken, if you feel helpless, if you feel as if life has knocked you down, try landing on your back. Because if you can look up, you could get up. And God wants you standing. Just remember, it's not over until you win. And that's God talking. That's Uncle Les talking. And that's Jermaine Rudd, Selector J speaking. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jermaine. I tell you what, you have just taken people and shook them for a second with an attitude of gratitude. I mean, it's a conscious interrupt, a reminder that we must be grateful for what we currently have to be able to open the doors for new opportunities to come into us. So I really appreciate you for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to reach out to Jermaine, you can go to his website, jmvirealty.com, and download the app right there and register to actually win a free Apple iPhone 12.
Wow.
Yeah, that is awesome. And also all the users that download and register will get a free book on the insider of real estate. So again, he's just giving things away left and right. That's what grateful people do. So thank you so much, Jermaine, for a powerful message. All right. And our next speaker, she is a certified executive leadership and personal development coach. who gets phenomenal results for her clients. And despite a global pandemic and being diagnosed with cancer all in 2020, this young lady has emerged as a cancer thriver. I love that word, not survivor, but thriver, and has founded the iShift Institute for Transformation, where she works with individuals to create a mindset shift that moves them from where they are today to where they truly long to be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Tanya Powell.
Thank you, Barry. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have disruptions in life. In fact, we're all dealing with the coronavirus and its impact. But I know that there are other disruptions happening in our personal lives. And if we're not careful, we can allow those to distract us from our destiny. And so if ever there's a time for us to just stop and assess ourselves, assess our dreams and goals, assess how we're showing up, that time is now. And so I'm happy to share with you just a small part of my journey and give you 3 key takeaways on how to, well, disrupt those disruptions and thrive. See, last month's theme for International Women's Day was I choose to challenge. And I really love that because everything begins with a choice. And so today I invite you to choose to challenge yourself and live in your power. So if you're ready to live a life of power, repeat after me with all the energy that you have and put it in the chat. I choose to challenge my thoughts. And louder, I am a disruptor. I am a thriver. See, it was in June 2018 when my mother was diagnosed with a physical illness, and it was very, very devastating. That was a major disruption, not only for her, but for me and the entire family. And when I quit my job and, spent the year being her caregiver, that was another disruption. And I'm sure you've had disruptions going on. And here's the thing. We've all had life experiences where we have back-to-back blows, because shortly after my mom completed her treatment and we're all set to resume life, I was diagnosed with a challenging illness. In fact, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. But we were determined to remain steadfast in the pursuit of an abundant life. Let me ask you, have you ever found yourself awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, wondering how you'll ever get through your latest challenge? I sure did. Well, here's how we got through ours, and you want to write this down. The first thing is tenacity. It took everything in my mother and everything in me and my family supporting me for us to get through it. And as you look at yourself, as you look at your dreams and goals, I want you to know that stuff is going to happen. It's called life. I want you to know that your name will be called, your number will be called. But I'm saying to you, don't panic. But you got to be tenacious and push through it. You can't just walk through it. You see, right now, our world needs hope. And as you rise, you give others permission to do the same. And the second thing is you have to make a committed decision on the outcome that you want. Tony Robbins says, it's in your moment of decisions that your destiny is shaped. And I want you to know this and write this down. Decision making is a superpower. And during my illness, one of my coaches said, Tanya, you have the power to decide and create the outcome you want. I looked at her a little strange, but then I thought, hey, let's give it a try. And here's what I learned. You have to decide on the outcome that you want, because where your focus goes, your energy flows, and that creates your results. A year ago, as I lay in the hospital bed, I remember Les Brown saying, as Jay Sean said this morning, if you fall, try to land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And as I stared at that ceiling fan, I made the decision to fully live in my power. And here's what I discovered. As I lifted my mind, my body followed, and here I am today. They say where there's a will, there's a way. Listen, I say to you today, there's always a way. You just need the will. Because you see, when you make a committed decision, everything collides to support it. And in fact, not making a decision about your destiny is making a decision to live by default. And as Napoleon Hill says, it's about accepting what life throws at you without putting up a fight or a protest. Thus, we become drifters through life. And so, in the words of the great Bob Marley, I remind you to get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, and don't give up the fight. And as Jermaine said, the third thing is we have to develop and cultivate an attitude of gratitude, a habit of writing down everything that we're grateful for, even in the darkest moments. And there were many of those. But as I grew through it, I was grateful for all the lessons. And some were tough, but I was grateful even more for my family and my support team. There were days I was even grateful for the pain, because that meant I was still alive and kicking. And I found that the more grateful I became, the easier things got, and the more resources found its way to me. You see, gratitude is our connection to the infinite source. Gratitude is our connection to God. An attitude of gratitude changes everything. Now, here's a bonus tip. Every morning, write out at least 10 things that you're truly grateful for and watch your life change. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what disruptions you have going on, but this I know. You are far greater than that circumstance because you have a divine power within you. And so your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to activate your decision-making superpower, step into your attitude of gratitude, and recognize that greatness within you and be all that you can be. My name is Tanya D. Powell. My friends call me TDP. T for total commitment and tenacity. D for decision and determination. And P because we have the power to pursue the life we want. I leave you with the words of Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time you fall. Choose to challenge yourself, to live now, live in your power, and dare to thrive. Mr. Barry, back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tanya. I got to tell you, my favorite part of your speech is that gratitude for the pain and turning around pain and looking at it as I'm living. This is life. This means I'm still alive and I'm still fighting. Yeah, you are truly a warrior, and I thank you for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to reach out to Tanya, you can reach her at tanyadpowell.com. And she has a free one-on-one coaching that she is offering to anyone that reaches out. So definitely take advantage of that free opportunity. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Thank you, Barry.
All right. And our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, he is a motivational speaker, life coach, philanthropist, an author. He's a military veteran. He's committed to inspiring and coaching individuals through the process of adjusting the mindset and a perspective to create positive momentum shifts. He wants to help you access the power within for that strength and courage that you will need to just keep pushing towards your goals. And he wants you to remember, no one will do it for you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the virtual stage, Eric Collier.
My bad. Sorry. Hey, Barry, thank you for that great introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really excited about being here with you today. And I want to take the time to thank my mentor, Mr. Les Brown, Jon Talarico, Barry, and as well as that awesome Power Voice team for the opportunity to share with you today. As you look at your life, ladies and gentlemen, and we think about the theme that has been set here today, here's what I want you to do. Turn to the person on your left and the right and even type it in the chat. Big life changes equal big life changes. That's right. And the big life change that you're here for, whether you were brought on your own, you came on your own, you were invited or tricked into coming, you're looking for a big life change. And it starts with those that dream, the vision and the goals that we set for ourselves. But the question becomes, what happens when you find yourself so caught up in your daily grind that you don't even have a vision or dream or goals that you're working towards? I asked that question simply because that's where I found myself. It wasn't until a gentleman asked me the question, what have you done over the course of the last 5 years that has gotten you closer to accomplishing your goals, that I had to stop in my tracks. And he caught me off guard. But even standing there, it didn't take long for me to realize I had done nothing. And as I stood there in the room with my friends and the gentleman who had asked the question, as well as my wife standing there looking on, I was embarrassed. And inside I was shrinking because I knew I was playing it small. I was not holding up my end of the bar, and I was letting my family down. Most importantly, what I was doing was setting my family up for failure in the future. And so it was at that moment I realized the only thing I could do, I needed to raise my game. I need to step it up and start taking control of my life. And the way I did that was type this in the chat: commit to living a larger life. That's right. I had to commit to living a larger life. No more playing small. Nelson Mandela says there's no reward in playing small. And he's right, because I wasn't receiving any benefits of what I was doing at that time. So with that, I began to work on the one thing that was holding me back. And the big battle that I needed to go up against was my mind. The enemy within. Old African scripture says that if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can't harm us. And boy, that enemy within was kicking my butt. I was operating with limited beliefs, a lack of confidence, and many fears, worrying about what other people were going to think, worrying about whether or not I was going to fail, and worrying about whether I just go after it day in and day out and it never happened. But guess what? People are going to laugh at you anyway. You're going to fail your way to success. And if you don't get started, you'll never find out. You'll be wondering why or what if. So here's what I did with that, committing to living a larger life and working on myself. The first thing I realized, there's only one person who can create the life puzzle that I want to see myself living, and that is me. And that's you as well, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody wants to allow somebody else to create the life puzzle for them. You've got to walk this journey and play this game simply to collect and connect the pieces of your life in a manner that you see for yourself that makes you happy and successful. And with that, I had to tap into me, that connection of me. Who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? And as I start uncovering some of the dreams, goals, and visions that I had buried, and start realizing that I had some skills and talents that lied far outside of my athletic ability that I thought was always going to be my ticket out, I realized I could do so much more in me. And I had so much more available to me. With that, I started raising the bar on myself. I declared myself under construction, and I started taking some risks that I wasn't taking before. And with that, as the good book says, my gifts start opening doors and put me in rooms with great men. I started connecting with individuals I thought I couldn't even connect with before, simply because of where I was from, how I looked, and my financial status and educational status. But what I realized was that those individuals are waiting for me. I have a gift that many people are waiting on, just like you do, ladies and gentlemen. You were put on this earth with a gift that solves a problem, and people are waiting on you. And when you decide what it is you want, doors will begin to open for you. So what happens when you connect with those like minds? You start seeing that they're incorporating the attitudes and behaviors that are needed for success. They're accomplishing things, even though they're going through some of the same adversities. They look coming from the same environments, and they look just like you. They're still accomplishing it. They're not using that as an excuse to cry and whine and complain. They're reacting with the idea of there's an opportunity in every problem. Write that down. There is an opportunity in every problem, and your decision on whether or not you're going to fight to get out of it or sit to stay in it is up to you. Here's what they do as well. Take life serious. Ladies and gentlemen, many people will die every day without taking life serious. They'll push everything that they want to do to the side. Oh, I'll start tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute, I'll do it next week. I had a friend of mine who started the New Year's and said, I'm going to start working out on myself and getting myself in shape. I talked to him the second week. I said, how's it going? He said, well, I fell off the wagon, but I'm going to get started again here in March. Man, it's January. What do you mean you're going to start in March? You can get started now. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to get started now where you're at with what you have, and you got to go forward all out no matter what. something that you'll need to do as well, ladies and gentlemen. I watched my parents do that, and I've incorporated it in my life. You have to do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Oh my goodness, that does not define you. If you work 2 jobs, so what? You got to do what you have to do. And what you have to do, you have to put food on the table. You got to put clothes on people's back, and you got to put a roof over people's head. That's called being responsible. If you refuse to do that, that means you've given up on yourself. And I know you're not ready to give up on yourself or the family. You see, I was letting them down, but I refused to let that continue anymore. I was not going to live a life where 5, 10, or 15 years I was still stuck. So with that, what defines you is the work that you put in the dark. Champions become champions long before they step into the arena. The lights come on and people fill the stands and they step in the ring and the announcer says, "Rumble, young man, rumble." Oh my goodness, they done got it in before they're ready to get it in. And you got to do the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. I sit here today simply because I committed to living a larger life. No longer was I going to allow myself to be stuck where I was. I needed to go for it, and I did that. And so do you, ladies and gentlemen. Time is running out. You are up against the wall like a team that is on defense, and you're down by 5 points. You have to get the other team to commit a turnover, get the ball in your favor, and score a touchdown. Once you do that, things will begin to change for you. Here's what I want you to do. Choose extreme resilience in conquering challenges and obstacles life leaves in every road. And by all means, just keep pushing because nobody's going to do it for you. I'm C. Eric Collier. Thank you.
All right, Eric, man, I'm telling you, you were dropping gems in that one. That in 7 minutes, you got a lot in, brother. So, and I hope you were if folks, if you were listening to that, I hope you were taking notes because I mean, he gave you a blueprint to just getting started and really taking off. And then if you want to reach out to Eric and really just have him do that thing of that momentum shift that he was talking about, go to his website. It's onemomentumshift.com, and it's the number 1 momentumshift.com. And reach out to Eric. He has you can schedule a free 30-minute coaching session with him. He's also taking speaking engagements from there as well. So thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you, Barry, and the Power Voice team for the opportunity. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You take care. All right. And we're going to keep it going here. We got another speaker that's going to bring fire with him as well. He is an award-winning coach, an author, speaker, and an entrepreneur. He's the owner of A Vision Lived, coaching and consulting, where he guides leaders to realize their greatest vision and potentials mentally, physically, and spiritually. Ladies and gentlemen, he is none other than Andre Van Loon.
Hello, everybody. I am excited and honored to be here in front of you today. And I know that you're a beautiful soul. I know that you're vibrating at a very high frequency, and I can see you without even seeing you. And that's because you're here. That's the type of people who are attracted to these type of events. So salute to you. My purpose here is just to remind you that it is very important to consistently make defiant decisions. See, a lot of us go through life making choices when we should be making decisions. At the root of the word decide is side, as in homicide, suicide, genocide. And that means to kill or to annihilate. And that's the type of energy that we have to bring a lot of times to negative circumstances. That's the energy that we have to bring to ugly labels that people place on you. That's the type of energy that we must bring to even anything that holds you back from becoming the very best version of yourself. See, I have a very intimate relationship with making defiant decisions. And that's because I grew up in a very dark and ugly arena. See, I grew up in foster care. I was in 7 foster homes, 2 group homes while raising my brother, bouncing from home to home to home with all of our belongings in the trash bag. And that was in the New York tri-state area during the cocaine era. And to paint a picture of what that was like, there was graffiti everywhere. There were crackheads on every corner. And if you got robbed one time in a month, you were lucky. There were so many multicolored crack vials in the street that when it rained, it was like a river was taking Skittles down the storm drain. That's the type of environment that my formation took place in, right? And I remember one morning, it was actually nighttime, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I heard feet running by my my downstairs basement. It was like so fast, do, 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 do. And you heard breathing, and another set of feet, do, 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 do. And you heard, and then you heard bam, 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 bam. That was 5 gunshots. It was September. It was dark. It was super duper quiet. And I remember hearing the body drop. Now, when I woke up the next morning, I had to take my brother to school. We walked around that dead body in the street that had a sheet on it. It was in that moment that I was cracked wide open. See, I think that I know that God takes adversity, pain, ugliness to crack human beings open, because he knows that inside the nut and the shell is the seed of opportunity, the seed of potential and possibility. So I became a man. I started taking things seriously. I went from casual at the ripe old age of like 10 to intentional. My mentor, Les Brown, says that if you live life casually, then you will become a casualty. I watched that unfold right there in real life. And I know, and I want to take it and put it on its air a little bit, that if you live life casually, then your dreams will become the casualty. I had an awakening from tragedy. Write this down. In every adversity, look for the awakening of purpose, the awakening of passion, the awakening of empathy, the awakening of growth. Look for it. It's there underneath the pain, though. So I had one adult in my life that was awesome, one adult that poured into me. It was my mother, who later on adopted me and my brother. I call her my angel. I asked her, hey, Mom, how do I get out of here? How do I not be a statistic? She said, Andre, education is your weapon. So I devoted myself to education. I devoted myself never making anything less than a B all through high school. I graduated high school, even though the guidance counselors were asking me what vocation would I take up? What trade would I learn? They were asking me that because they saw my transcript and they see my psychological evaluation and said I was emotionally disturbed. How many people have ever had negative labels placed on them? Well, I have. I've had many. And I'm here to give you 2 things. Only you can label you. Only you can validate you. And if you decide to sprinkle belief on a negative label that somebody gives you, then what you've done is given them the power to shape your future going forward. Nobody deserves that much power in your life. Nobody. So I decided that I was going to go to college. Me, Trash Bag Dre. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to graduate. And I graduated. I became part of less than 3% of children placed in 5 or more homes who ever go to graduate college. I did that. I defiantly decided to do that. I defiantly decided to become an entrepreneur. I defiantly decided to start a business in New York City. And I got from that opportunity, I got to work with CEOs. I got to work with celebrities. I got to travel the globe. I've written 4 books, one of which is Focus on Better, because I had to defiantly focus on better my entire life. Now, defiant decisions, what they do is they bring us to the staircase of possibility and potential. Martin Luther King said, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. So where must you defiantly decide to step over procrastination? Where must you defiantly decide to leave a bad habit behind? Where must you defiantly decide to forgive somebody and let it go so you can become who it is you're supposed to be on this planet? See, after working with thousands of bodies, after traveling and helping people for 25 years, I know one thing, that the world is a living, breathing organism. And each one of us are cells within that organism. And we each have a unique function to do on this planet. And if we do not do that, we add to the disease. We add to the discord. But when we do live our function and grow into greatness, you know what we do? We add to the health and well-being of the entire planet. One person living their purpose might be the catalyst for this whole thing to change. I like to end this with a quote from somebody who grew up in the cocaine era, like I did, who's a multi-billionaire at this point. His name is Jay-Z. And he said, I'd rather die enormous than to live dormant. Let that live. Let that breathe. I am pleading with you to not die before you die, to not become complacent before you die, but to make a defiant decision to let whatever greatness that is in you be erupting out into the world. My name is Andre Van Lun. That's my story, and I hope you defiantly decide to write the next chapter of yours. Peace.
All right. Thank you so much, Andre. Man, powerful message delivered with conviction. And we can see, that greatness just exuding from you. One of the my best parts of what you said was what Mr. Washington told Mr. Brown in regards to that emotionally disturbed, and other people's opinion of you did not have to become your reality. And you have made that clear that that was not going to be your reality. So thank you so much, sir. So to get a hold of Andre, it's andrevanlun.com. He has a forthcoming audio file that will be available, but reach out to him, go to his website and register there. Get connected with this gentleman, because you can see you want to have that energy in your life and have it exude from him into you and take you to new heights in your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right. So again, you've heard some amazing speakers here, and their power voice is coming out. They've been trained by one of the best in the business to be able to do what they're doing today. And they're just sharing their talents and the craft that they've been able to hone for the past several weeks. And you can actually go out and be able to do the same thing. I know there's a story inside of you, because we all have a story inside of us. And that story can impact so many people. But how do you get that story out? Let me tell you, it's $247 per month, and you get to work with the godfather of greatness himself, one of the #1 speakers in the world. And like I said earlier, I consider the #1 speaking coach in the world, Mr. Les Brown. Imagine being able to work with him on a weekly basis in live workshops for $247 per month. And all you have to do is go to powervoicetraining.com, and sign up. Get started today. There are people that have already taken advantage of this opportunity. I can tell you, this is a brand new offer. This has not been offered since they've been doing the Power Voice. So you have an opportunity to get in at a great offer. Take advantage of it while it still lasts. All right. So we're going to get into our next speaker. And this lady has spent the last 20 years in the fields of education, health, and wellness. Her relentless pursuit on why some students and clients achieved great results while others struggled has led to a custom coaching program, both for personal development and business development. Today, she will be sharing how to unlock your internal guides. And you can use this as a navigator through this roadmap called life, to finally come to all that you were created to be. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Rachel Harvey, welcome.
Good afternoon, family. It is such a pleasure and privilege to be here with you today. My name is Rachel Harvey, and I am a core values coach. And today I would like to start with a question. How many of you have ever gone through a really challenging season in your life where you would have given anything to have a small voice be able to tell you where you should go or what you should be doing? I believe that in each one of us has been placed a dream, a work, or a purpose. And if you don't believe me on that, I would like you to go visit the classroom of our elementary students and ask them what they would like to be when they grow up. What you will hear are answers without limits. But along the way, life sinks its teeth into us. We begin to believe that our dreams are too big, they're too hard, they're too expensive, or we are not qualified for them. So instead, we trade them in for the chain of responsibility. We let the pain of our past and the fear of our future convince us to settle. We settle into relationships that don't fit. We settle into jobs that burn out and overwhelm. We settle for poor health, anger, bitterness. We tell ourselves that our dreams were meant for someone else. Perhaps today you're asking yourself, how do I get back to that dream? How do I get closer to that work? How do I find my purpose? The author Susan David of the book Emotional Agility tells us that if we will take the time to learn our core values and call them by name, they can act as an internal compass or as signposts. So as we reach the forks in the road of this journey called life, they can serve as those small voices that will guide us on where we need to go. I would like to share with you today a defining moment when I learned to call my core values by name and how it not only saved my life, but changed it. I'd like to take you back with me to 2006. I was sitting in the hospital room of my oldest son who due to undiagnosed gestational diabetes, had been born 7 weeks early. And I looked at his little body and that incubator with all of the tubes and wires and machines hooked up. And I had the overwhelming voice of shame screaming in my ear saying, how could you let this happen? As I was asking myself if I was even capable of raising this little life that had been entrusted to me, I began to look back at the previous challenges and storms that life had brought me through up to that point. And I began to ask myself, what got me through each one of those? It was at that moment that I began to hear the voices of my core values, faith, hope, love, courage, and persistence rising to the surface. I chose to tune out the noise of the problem that I was facing and tune in to the possibility that those voices were giving me. The author Sarah Haggerty tells us that in order to take something captive, we first must notice it. That day I had to notice two things: that diabetes was not sent here to break me and to break my family, that it was my opportunity to level up, and that living on a higher level would unlock other opportunities I could not yet imagine. I also had to notice the power that was held in those core values should I choose to trust them. The psychologist Dr. Rollo May tells us that the opposite of cowardice is not, or the opposite of courage is not cowardice, but conformity. I had to stop conforming to my DNA makeup. I had to stop conforming to my fear and doubt on whether or not I would be successful. And I had to begin to walk in faith with hope, taking courage that I could overcome. I sit before you today with diabetes abolished from my body. I sit before you today with a son that is wholly healthy and reaching heights that I could not have imagined 15 years ago when everything was in question. The great Les Brown tells us that we must learn to see our failures as springboards to new accomplishments. My failure in becoming a type 2 diabetic was my springboard. The diabetes acted as a megaphone for the need of healing and health in my life. And as I stepped into that, I began to find my purpose and my passion. My passion is helping you find your core values, your internal guides. So if you are still stuck, if life has sunken its teeth into you, and there's a great distance between where you are and where you know that you are being called to be, I want to encourage you and invite you to visit our website, rachelharvey.life, where you're going to find 2 free resources there. The first one is a guide that will help you begin to call your guides by name so that you can harness the power. The second is a free 30-day journal where we will walk you through small action steps you can take daily. And I encourage you to watch the change over those 30 days. I look forward to meeting you. My name is Rachel Harvey. I'm a core values coach, Go get your free stuff. I cannot wait to hear your story.
All right. Thank you so much, Rachel. It is very clear how passionate you are about helping others and seeing and realizing the journey that you've taken and being able to help others take that same journey. That you're doing God's work. And I just thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's the whole purpose. Step into what he has for us, and he writes a much better story than we do.
Absolutely. Jeremiah 29:11, we go back to it. So we've heard from amazing speakers. I told you this, I did not, when I was not hyping this up in the front end. I was telling you that we were going to have some amazing speakers, and we have a few more left that are just going to knock this thing out of the park as we go. And this next one, he has an amazing story of defying the odds that will inspire you and keep you going. His suicide attempt was an experience that transformed his life forever. And he believes once you discover the real estate in you, your life will never be the same. He also thinks that the couch is the grave to your dreams, goals, and ambitions. So divorce the couch and love life on your terms. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Cyrus Dixon.
Hey, listen, thanks, Barry. Super excited to be here. But I want to take you all on a journey for a few minutes. I want to kind of bend your perspective on life. I want to talk to you about my experience, but I want to leave you with 6 keys that I've discovered along my journey that have completely transformed my life and that are the building block of my life. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was September the 4th, 2002 at 4:34 in the morning, and I slit my left wrist twice. And I remember lying in a pool of blood in a bathroom floor on a college campus. And I remember the agony, and I remember the pain. I remember the journey. I remember learning and having to navigate life from that moment. I want to stop here. I want to ask you, what is the moment that you realize that caused your life to change forever? Everyone has these moments, these pivotal moments in their life that cause their mind to come alive, that cause their views on life to expand. And the paradigm shift begins to take place internally, and it manifests externally. And so you have something that's locked up inside of you that has to come out. You have real estate. What is real estate? You have personal wealth, personal value. My mentor says it like this: you have greatness in you. And I can't say it like he has, but I want to share the sentiments of just how to unlock these 6 keys of real estate in you. Because once you do, your life takes on a different pattern and it takes on a different focus. You become more intentional about what you do, how you do it, the life that you live. And watch this, even the people that you reach. And the reason why I'm so grateful for September the 4th, 2002 was because it was my awakening moment. It was that moment that I had to stop looking without, search within, do introspection, and I had to dig deep. Cyrus, what are these keys? So the first key that I want you all to write down, I want you to write down commit. You have to be committed to the journey in spite of what comes your way. The pandemic has thrown so many lives in a race, so many hearts have been broken. But one of the things that we have to do, and we've done it every day, we've gotten up as a world to figure out how to move forward. The next step forward is going to be based on your commitment in order for you to reach your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations for your life. The second thing I want you to remember is you are enough. Listen, I was told by so many people about what I was and how I wouldn't be and who I wouldn't become. But I had the right people in my life to make sure that they poured into me in the right seasons and the time. And I have to tell you today, April the 10th, 2021, you are enough. You don't have to live up to the expectations of man. You don't have to live up to what they anticipate and want and desire for your life. But once you realize that you're enough, you do life differently. The next note I want you to take down is you have to, listen to me, you have to reprogram your mind. When you think about a lot of the successful and wealthy people in the world, they had a moment in time that forced them to reprogram their mind to build the right relationships in order to raise the bar and get the right results. How far are you willing to go to reprogram your mind? Because once your mind is reprogrammed, it doesn't matter what happens to your body. Once your mind is reprogrammed, there are things that you can accomplish even on your back with a mind that's been loosed and ready to go. And so I remember the agony, I remember the toil, and I remember the 13 years of the isolation and trying to figure out what I could do and how I could do it better in order to get my life back on the track. And I remember it was simple. It was in the reprogramming of my mind that changed my life. The next thing you have to do is you have to become unshakable. Listen, there are so many things in society, in the world today, that are shaking people to the core and the foundation of their heart, and are not able to function. They're not able to manage. They don't know how to embrace what's going on, and they don't know how to learn. You have to become unshakable, because that means no matter how hard the tree of your heart shakes, it will not break any branches. Make sure that you remain unshakable, even in an unvolatile, in a pivotal world like we're in. When you remain unshakable, the results are greater than what you can ever anticipate and imagine. And then from today, what do? From today, this moment forward, you make sure that you live a service-driven life and stand on your feet. Stand up to it, no matter whatever it is. Stand up to poverty. Now watch this. Poverty is not just financially. Poverty is emotionally, it's mentally, it's spiritually, and it's physically, and it's financially. But once you make up in your mind that you're going to stand up to poverty, your service has to increase. You have to serve humanity, because it's when you serve that you get access to the king's table. And then last but not least, you have to be the one to determine your definition. Stop letting people determine your value and determine what you bring to the table. You program your mind, you stay committed, you focus, you reprogram, and you ask yourself, what do I want the world to remember me by? What will my definition be when the time I close my eyes? What will it be? And so if you see down below you, it says boycott the couch. I say that because the couch is the grave to your dreams, your goals, and ambition. Some may say, Cyrus, listen, I don't have a couch. Well, guess what? Social media might be your couch. The refrigerator might be your couch. Drugs might be your couch. Alcohol might be your couch. And if you enjoy life on your couch for far too long, you will give up on your dreams, your goals, and ambitions. And if you give up, there were so many people that are tied to you that will give up right beside you. And so I want to thank the magnificent coach, Jon Talarico. I want to thank the godfather of motivational speaking, the one and only, the prolific, whatever it is, Les Brown, for this moment to share with you, because tomorrow matters. And as long as you remain on the couch, your tomorrow will never manifest. But the moment you get up and you boycott the couch, that is when your life completely changes. My name is Cyrus Dixon. I love you.
All right. Thank you, Cyrus. And you know what? We love you, man. This was a powerful message that you delivered. Those tips were phenomenal. And I'm a real estate broker. I've been in real estate for 20 years, and I train real estate agents. And one of the things that I always say that I immediately connected with this is the most important real estate that you own are the 6 inches between your ears. But you took it even to another level with that. So I really appreciate that. Love the story, my brother.
Thanks, Barry. Hey, listen, if you want to reach out to me, my website is below, cyrusbdixon.com. The giveaway is going to be a daily guide to help you challenge yourself every day to find out what you need to do differently in order to make your day a functioning day, and also to reprogram your mind to help get you to where you want to be.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. cyrusbdixon.com. Go get that guide right now. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So we down to 2 speakers, and I'm telling you, they're going to both bring the fire here. I've had the opportunity to listen to both of them speak. Woo! You get ready. That's all I can tell you. And the first one, he's a speaker, he's a personal growth coach, an author, an entrepreneur. His purpose and mission is to inspire all people to utilize their inherent gifts. He is originally from the coastal city of Wilmington, North Carolina, but now he resides in Clayton, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the coach, Coach Billy Roberts.
Thank you very much, Barry. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the great Les Brown and Mr. Jon Talarico for giving me this opportunity. Again, my name is Coach Billy Roberts. And I want to talk to you about believing in yourself. But before I do, I want you to think about that person. I want you to think about that one person that believed in you. And when you think about that person, I want you to write their names down, if you will. Thank you. See, Arthur Richard Wright said that the impulse to dream has slowly been beaten out of me by experience. And in this particular case, he's talking about life experiences. And if you know that the experiences in life can sometimes beat you down, type life in the chat box. See, these experiences can take your impulse to dream. These life experiences can suppress your imagination. This is why it's imperative that you believe in yourself, because the pressures in life, the things that we go through, they will make you think that you're not doing anything right. They will make you think that you're not good enough. However, Scripture says, let us not become weary when doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So I say to you, try not to beat yourself up. Try not to become weary, because in order to reap, you're gonna have to go through some hard times. See, you gotta play the hand that you were dealt. And yes, a lot of us have been dealt a bad hand. This is true. However, these are the phases in life that we have to go through. And from what I know, from my personal experiences, there are 4 essential phases that if you catch these, you will have an abundant life. Write this down. Phase 1 is imagination. See, Albert Einstein said that imagination is the preview to your life's coming attractions. However, when I was a kid, my imagination was suppressed from the mental noise. See, I was raised by a single parent mother that worked in a sweat factory for 30 years, standing on a hard concrete floor until the bones in her feet collapsed. See, all I can remember is the smell of Bengay pain cream and green rubbing alcohol. But see, that stuff couldn't help her with her pain. And they wanted to know why I couldn't focus or pay attention in school. But see, focusing and paying attention in school, that wasn't my goal, which is phase 2 to achieving an abundant life. Write that down. Goals. See, I learned that where there is no vision, the people perish. I also learned that you should write the vision and make it plain so that he may run who reads it. And I want to run. Who's going to teach me how to set goals and run towards those goals? My mother? Nah, she's tired and she's doing all that she can do. My father? Well, Vietnam vet, good man, people person, heart of gold. See, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, right? And see, his treasure was inside of him. I just never known him to have any of the material things that most people would have. Not a car, not a house, or a job. See, he used to come pick me up and we would walk to the convenience store. He would go inside and buy a pint of wine. We would go into the alley behind the store and he would smack his wine bottle on the bottom. Then he would pour some out to memorialize the guys that he used to drink with. He would then drink the entire bottle in 4 gulps until it was gone and then throw the bottle on the ground. And then he would say to me, don't do as I do, do as I say. But how many of you know that kids are going to do exactly as you do? That's right. Now, if you know this to be true, type kids in the chat box. Now, as a result of this, I was the only 3rd grader that smacked this chocolate milk on the bottom of the carton, drank the entire carton in 4 gulps until it was gone, and then threw the carton in the trash. Now, if you caught me on a good day, I'll throw it on the floor. Man, it was crazy. Now, fast forward into my adult years. Dim imagination, no goals, and trying to be a man. I created all types of financial and legal trouble for myself to the point where I started losing hope. But then I met someone. That's right. I met that person. And she said to me that she sees something in me. See, she believed in me. However, I didn't believe in myself. So I tried to subconsciously try to reject her because of fear. Fear of taking her down the wrong road, fear of commitment, just overall fear of the unknown. Fear, ladies and gentlemen, write that down. Fear, which is the third phase to achieving an abundant life. See, Sir Richard Branson said, everything you want is on the other side of fear. Susan Jeffers wrote the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And that's what I did. I took the leap of faith rather than having the stance of fear. See, I believed in her belief in me because I didn't believe in myself yet. And Les Brown said that if you don't believe in yourself, then believe in the belief that someone else has in you. And that's when my life started to change. I began to focus, which is the fourth phase to achieving an abundant life. Write that down. Focus. And wherever your focus goes, energy flows and results show. And the results was that I'm now believing in myself. And because I'm believing in myself, I've become an entrepreneur, a homeowner, and an author. See, when I believed in myself, started believing in myself, I regained the use of my imagination. See, when you believe in yourself, you'll set goals and see them through. When you believe in yourself, you will face your fears and step out on faith. When you believe in yourself, you will focus on what you want to do. This is Coach Billy Roberts. And the B in my name does not stand for bow tie. It stands for believe. Believe in the person you could be. Thank y'all.
Yes. I tell you, while you were speaking, I'm sitting here saying, put me in, coach. Put me in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were listening to this and he touched your spirit, put in the comments, put me in, coach. Billy, that was awesome, man.
Thanks,
and
Billy.
As he mentioned, CoachBillyRoberts.com is his website. He has a 30-minute coaching session. Type in the comments, put me in, coach, but then go to his website and get that coaching session. I've looked at other videos of him giving motivational speeches to football teams before they go out for a game. This is the kind of guy you want, holding you accountable to believing in your goals and dreams. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Billy.
Thank you very much, Barry. Thank you, Power Voice Summit. I love y'all. Press on, press on.
All right. And if you're looking for another type of coach, a speaker coach, a speaking coach, we have someone for you for that. Well, you can definitely say, put me in, coach. And his name is Mr. Les Brown. He's the #1 motivational speaker in the world, and he's impacting hundreds of thousands of people right now that are taking advantage of this opportunity that I want to share with you. You can become a part of this Power Voice Summit community and be a part of the Power Voice system by just going to powervoicetraining.com and getting signed up today. I don't know how long this offer is going to last, but right now what they are offering is $247 per month that you can be a part of this. What does that give you? It's going to give you weekly training that you get live with Les Brown. He's going to take your story. You're going to see him take all kinds of people from all walks of life all around the world, take their story, shape it and mold it, and get you to understand how to be able to take that story you have inside of you and project it with power and conviction to share it with others. So I definitely suggest going to powervoicetraining.com, taking action, getting signed up today, and taking the first step to unleashing your power voice. And we're coming to the end of this. We have one more speaker, but she's last, but she is not least. I'm going to tell you that right now. I've had the opportunity to listen to her speak as well. You're in for a real treat. All right. She is the founder of an integrative wellness coaching and consulting company that offers holistic personal development and wellness workshops. She is a women empowerment speaker, a 3-time author, and the mother of an amazing 3-year-old, Amir. Her mission in life is to inspire women and to provide the tools to help them live their dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Aisha Tatum.
Have you ever experienced something so painful that it changed the entire trajectory of your life? Well, I have. And ladies and gentlemen, today, I'd like to talk to you about the importance of manifesting your dreams. December 10th, 2014 is a day that I'll never forget. My family and I had flown to Mexico as a last-ditch effort to save my mother's life, but we were just too late. You see, 11 months prior, my mom was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer that only impacts 1% of the world population. And upon hearing from the doctors that there was nothing they could do, I remembered walking into my mother's hospital room and up to her bed as she lay there with her eyes gazing off into space and her mouth wide open as she gasped for air. And I immediately got on the bed with my mother and I reached for her warm and soft hands, knowing this would be the last time I would hold them. And then I began to reminisce on special moments we shared, like the time my mother taught me how to tie my shoes. And every time we would go skating when I was a child and I would fall down, my mother would yell, "Aisha, get back up." And I remember the time that I walked across the stage receiving my high school diploma. And my mother screamed so loud in the stands, everybody could hear her. And the day I graduated from college, my mother walked up to me, looked me in my eyes, handed me 12 dozen roses and said, "Aisha, I love you. I'm so proud of you." But it was in these final moments that I wanted so desperately to hear my mother's voice and to look her in her eyes one last time. But she can no longer see or speak. But I knew that she can hear me because our hearing is the last sense that leaves us before we die. So I whispered into my mother's ear, "I love you. I'm proud of you. You're my hero." December 10th, 2014 is the day that my mother took her last breath. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't angry at God. I spent a year depressed asking the question, "God, why didn't you just take me instead?" And one day God answered as I found an old message from my mother on a cell phone that said, "Aisha, I can't wait to see you speak all over the world." And in that moment, I knew I had a choice to either go forward into the destiny God had for me or to stay stuck in my pain. Ladies and gentlemen, Aristotle says that it is in our darkest moments that we must try to focus to seek a light. And in reflecting upon my mother's life, I asked a question. If my mother had her life to live over again, what would she have done differently? And today I'd like to share those thoughts and ideas with you. The first thing I'd like for you to write down on your paper is run for it. I believe that if my mother had her life to live over again, she would have ran for it like a black stallion running a race to win a prize. At the age of 29, my mother left California to move to Atlanta with 2 small kids, no family, no support, just a job and a dream. And I believe that my mother got caught as a single mom, caught up in survival mode. And isn't it true sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, that we get married and have kids and we get jobs to pay the bills? And sometimes we look at ourselves in the mirror and we notice that 10 years of our lives have passed and we ask the question, what happened to me? What happened to my goals and my dreams? But ladies and gentlemen, know that there's still time. Everybody say there's still time. There's still time. As long as you've got breath in your body, there's still time for you to do more, to be more, to live more. But even though there's still time, know that the clock is ticking. The second thing I'd like to share with you is that the pain of regret of not living your dreams can literally make you sick. We as human beings are multidimensional: mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And when our souls are in bondage, when our souls are not liberated, when our souls are not doing what they were designed to do, it literally creates an energetic imbalance that manifests itself as depression, anxiety, and even cancer. My mother lived an active lifestyle. She was a vegetarian. And I can remember we would go out dancing and my mom would get on the dance floor and the whole crowd would make way for my mother. Deep down inside, the pain of regret of my mother not living her dreams was literally eating away at her. So no matter where you are right now in your life, I want to encourage you to pull those dreams off the shelf, dust them off, get a plan of action together and execute on that plan like your life depends on it, because it does. The third thing I'd like to share with you is to let your light shine. Scripture says, let your light shine before men so that they may see your good works and glorify the Father who's in heaven. And do you know the amazing thing about this is that God didn't send one person to the planet without a light to shine. And I believe that that light is our gift. And as we begin to tap into that gift, the whole world opens up to us and we begin to manifest the life that God truly has for us. Ladies and gentlemen, I wasted many years of my life standing on the sidelines, watching other people live their dreams because I was too afraid to manifest my own. But God did not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. So if you ever begin to doubt your very existence, just remember the words of the late, great Miles Monroe, who said, you are a package sent to earth to deliver a gift to your generation. You were born for a time such as this. And in closing, I believe that heroes die, but that their legacy lives on in the lives of those that they inspire. There wasn't a day that went by that my mother didn't inspire my brother and I to live our dreams. I can remember the first time I grabbed hold of a microphone and I spoke. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, it was as if my soul just lit up. And she said, Aisha, you ought to contact Les Brown. He can help you. Just try and see. You never know. But I never did. And that was 20 years ago. Because ultimately, I just didn't believe in myself. But ladies and gentlemen, one thing I know for certain is if we want to begin to manifest our dreams, we have to believe in who we are, whose we are, and what we've come here to do. And even though my mother didn't live her dreams of being an actress on the big stage with Tyler Perry, my mother held a vision of me one day speaking all over the world. And even though my mother didn't live to see it, today that dream came true. So I want to encourage you to run after your dreams. Anything standing in the way from you becoming who God is calling you to be, let it go. Let your light shine by tapping into your gift and activating your purpose, and live a life so great that even in your death, you inspire the excellence in others. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we all have greatness within us. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface of what's truly possible when we truly believe in the infinite power that's within us. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my greatest prayer that we all choose to rob the grave and not the world of our greatness. I'm Aisha, Lydia's daughter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aisha. I tell you what, Lydia is looking down on heaven, and she got some of her friends, and she's like, they're sitting there and they look at my baby doing her thing. And I know she's proud of you today, and that was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to reach out to Aisha, you can reach her at aishatatum.com, and she has a heart activation meditation that you'll be able to get from her website. Again, thank you so much for such inspiring words.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless. Thank you, Jon Talarico. Thank you, Les Brown. Thank you, guys. God bless.
All right. So I am so proud of each and every one of these speakers. They came and they lit this place on fire today. And I can tell you that they have family members that are proud. They have friends that joined in on here that are proud. But they have a gentleman that really started this about a year ago. I always say the best thing that came out of a pandemic is that Mr. Les Brown was at home alone talking to Tyrone, and Tyrone or somebody said, hey, we need to do this Power Voice Summit. And he is creating amazing speakers around the world. So let's bring him back just to say thank you to him and let him have those closing words for this amazing event.
Whew. Aisha and all the other speakers, y'all have messed me up in here. Even Tyrone started shouting. Oh my goodness. Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw greatness. You just saw people who have made a decision to unleash the greatness that they have within themselves. People who have made the commitment, as Aisha said, rob the cemetery, not the world, of your greatness. This is a very emotional time for me. There's something that I've been looking for almost 76 years. April the 7th was the first time I went public asking and prayed to God. Today is the day. I need to know. I need to know the secret that has been withheld from me. And what I was looking for on that day, on April the 7th, something told me this will be the day that I will see a picture of my father. This will be the day I'll get a call and say, I know who your mother is. And so many things started coming together. And sure enough, I got a call. And you know what I discovered? Not only did I discover who my father was and saw a picture, I discovered who my mother was and I got a chance to hear her voice. My mother was a speaker. Hello. And spoke all over everywhere. She's a speaker. And you know, I'm always talking about singing. She could sing and she played the piano. They said she tore it up. Not only that, her mother was a speaker. Come on. Let me tell you, some things is nature, some things are nurture. That your environment is nurtured, it's created, it's cultivated in you. But there's some things you show up with, like a hunger to live a different life, like a hunger while people around you are satisfied with things as they are. But you say to yourself, this is not my rightful place. I've heard some incredible speeches here. I'm going to interview all of them. I want Jon to set it up so I can interview all of you on my Facebook, where we have over 1 million people, 1,300,000, my Instagram and my Twitter, to help to accelerate your exposure to the planet. Your presentations had power, feeling, and conviction, had info bites. They distracted, disputed, and you release the greatness in the people that watch. What you tune into, you turn into. I saw some greatness today. They say, look out, Les Brown, we coming for you and Tyrone too. Oh my goodness. Live your life in such a way till the future you will say, I'm glad you made that decision. And I heard the voice as I looked at each one of these speakers who have their own voice, who brought their own shoes to the party, and they have an assignment, and they've answered the call on their lives. I've cried, I've laughed, I've listened with amazement. I said, whoa. And these voices are needed now more than ever before. The suicide rate is soaring. Our children are committing suicide rate at an alarming level. People who are feeling lonely and stressed out and feeling helpless and powerless need to hear voices that will lift their spirits, that will help them to clear their minds and let them to know where there's a will, there's a way. I want to thank all of you. You showed yourselves proud today. You just showed up and showed out. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Tyrone said, look at them, they out here. Tyrone gave you all a standing ovation, all right? Tyrone, we speak squirrely together. I'm not going to go into that right now. But Tyrone said, yeah, they deserve a standing ovation. I said, you got that right. You got that right up in here, up in here. It's a special time. This day, after getting the news and seeing an interview with my birth mother, and people were recognizing her, this area of Georgia, for some work that she had done, and just getting all those revelations and all of these pictures, and then seeing my future, I made the decision. We need more voices, each voice each voice has a frequency behind the voice. If I ask you, who's the president of NAACP? Most people don't know that, but we knew it when it was Benjamin Hooks. Who's the president of Urban League? Most people don't know that, but we knew it when it was Vernon Jordan. There's a vacuum. There's a vacuum. New voices of leadership, new voices of hope. People need to be taught methods and techniques and strategies and how to overcome, in spite of systemic racism, in spite of all the things that's involved in the system, embedded in the system to oppress and keep you down. 41 states, over 40 states, trying in 2021 to deprive you of your right to vote. Made it a crime. Here in Georgia, who does this? I mean, there's no shame. Made it a crime to give somebody a glass of water who's waiting in line. How do you, what do you have to say to yourself to justify that level of hatred and ignorance and belligerent behavior? What do you say? Oh, we're gonna, you know what? Let's make it a crime that they can't give anybody a chair who's been standing a long time. They're a senior citizen, and if somebody bring them a chair, we'll give them a fine. Put them in jail or financial fine. Or if somebody bring them a glass of water because it's hot outside in hot Atlanta, there's another fine, and find a way to intimidate them. Have police outside the polling places. Let's give all the white supremacists and the Klan members in the police department promotions so they can go out and rather serve and protect in the Black community. Let them, give them a free hand to be judge, jury, and executioner so they can kill, maim, brutalize, and know they can get away with it. This is where we are. This is where we are. Benjamin Franklin said that things won't change until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are affected. This is where we are. Do you realize where we are? I never thought in 2021, I got fired September 22nd in Columbus, Ohio, 46 years ago, editorializing against police brutality. 46 years ago, so they didn't want me on the air in Columbus, Ohio, when the first African-American ran for mayor in September, Dr. John Roseman. They said, take him off the air. He's too dangerous. Take him off. Take him off. And Skyway Broadcasting changed the locks. They knew it was wrong. They didn't have the guts to face me, and they changed the locks, so I couldn't come into the station. And I sat in the car and I listened. I drove my car close to the building and stood on my roof and looked in the window of the engineer's office and said, Nick, do you know that I'm crazy? He said, yes. I said, then open the door. He said, I will, but I had nothing to do with this. No problem. Just open the door, Nick. And he did. And I went on the air, said, this is Les Brown. It's the last day I'm going to be on the air. There will be no music today. You're firing me today. They didn't have the guts to face me today. They don't want me on the air when Dr. John Roseman is running in the November election because he won the primary. They want me out of here. But today, I've barricaded myself in the studio. Today, I will talk until they come take the door off the hinges and get me out. I'm not suggesting this for nobody. I was 36. I was a little crazy then. I'm 76, 70. And they finally called the Upper Arlington police. Hey, you under arrest. If you don't come out now, you're trespassing. I want to come out, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the police are here. Well, all you have to do is just move the furniture and come out. That requires work. I've been fired. I don't work for free. Are you crazy? No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm cooperating with them. I'm not resisting arrest. I will do whatever they say. I will stand up. I hold my hands up. I have no weapons. And all they need to do is figure out how to get in here. Oh my God. Hello. These voices. We need some new voices. There's a vacuum. We need voices of hope, voices of method. Each one gave steps. Here's what we can do. Dr. King said, I have a dream. And these voices said, here's how you live the dream. Here's how you manifest your dream. Here's what you need to do so that you can become the kind of person that God chose you to become. That's what they were talking about. This is different. You don't get this anywhere else. In church, they say, Jesus affected. He said, these things ye should do, and greater things shall ye do. The politicians say, vote for me, and I'll give you the piece of the American pie. We know that that's a big lie. Here's a song that say, Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that has his own. Oh, behave, somebody. You make me randy, baby. They brought it. They got the butter from the duck. Yes, they did. They took no prisoners. Yes, they did. They were clear, simple yet profound. They touched hearts and expanded minds and ignited spirits. Speakers, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. The time and the effort that you have put in to develop and sharpen your skills, I'm so proud of you. I put my name and reputation on you. Yes, I'm so proud I get to see you, my Aisha. I think my birth mother, she lived here in Georgia. I know she had to know about me. She died in 2006. She had to know. She had to know. I'm communicating with some relatives now that I didn't know. We found them in Ancestry. And I know she's on the other side with Mamie Brown, my real mother, and your mother, and Mamie Brown. She's baked them sweet potato pie in heaven, and all the angels are lined up and say, okay, Miss Mamie, I'm next. Can I have my slice now? Oh, my mother could make a sweet potato pie so good you couldn't eat it with your shoes on. Oh, boy, I'm overwhelmed. This has been an incredible day. This has been a beautiful day. The secret has been exposed. I'm grateful. I wanted to know, but I didn't need to know. But I was. They said, oh, your mother was a fierce speaker. I said, you gotta be kidding. She spoke everywhere. If she came to church, she started playing that piano. She'd sing, and then she'd get up and she'd speak. And your grandmother, oh, she could get it too. She could speak too. I said, look at God. Look, whoa. Oh my goodness, my sons and daughters, they're so excited when I send them the pictures. Oh. And see, my father. My mother was educated, but father, he cut grass and he was a handyman. He's dressed real sharp. And they say he was a ladies' man. My oldest son said, now we understand. I said, what you talking about, Willis? What you talking about? The devil is a liar. This has been incredible. Oh, Lord, so much is happening. It's just too much, Lord. It's just too much. I feel like Mother Teresa, who said, Lord, just when I thought I got a handle on life, the handle broke. It's just too much. Don't do nothing else. Aisha, come on. You have no mercy on me. Okay. I want to thank all y'all. I wanted to put you on notice. I'm going to steal your quotes. Yep. I'm going to have them typed up, and I'm going to give you credit the first 3 times. Then I'm going to say I heard it somewhere. Barry, you got it, my brother. Oh, boy.
All right. Thank you so much. And I am really just happy for you and the revelations that have happened over the past 48 hours for you. Congratulations for that. And for all the Power Voice Summit participants today, the Power Voice System alum from back in June all the way till now, I just want to say thank you on all of their behalf for putting this system together, because it is truly an opportunity that I would have never had if you hadn't put this together. And I am grateful for it. And I know so many of us are. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking to bring that voice out of you, as you saw so many speakers do today, you can go to the powervoicetraining.com and be able to sign up right now, right at this moment. People are taking advantage of signing up today because we have a special offer, $247 per month to be trained by the godfather of greatness himself, Mr. Les Brown. You will have every week, you will have a live event where you can see him take a story and break it down. It is masterful, and you have to be in the room to be able to see that. It's nothing like I've ever experienced from a speaking level before. So it is worth your money. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity that you have to be able to be a part of that and hone your craft and find your power voice and project it to the world. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today. It has been a great pleasure to be here with each and every one of you. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Power Voice Summit. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.